Hello, welcome to Monday Morning Matters live broadcast show brought to you by Magnicraft Consulting Team, anchored by Niyi Dunmade, a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the U.S. Here, each Monday of every week, we address important, relevant, and actionable topics of interest that will help you and your church grow healthier. And now, meet your host, Niyi Dunmade.
Welcome to Monday Morning Matters. My name is Niyi Dunmade, founder, CEO, Magnicraft Consulting. Okay, I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. I'm also a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the US. And so I want to welcome you to this live broadcast show on Facebook, on YouTube. This is Monday Morning Matter and the second edition on this topic, benchmarks for church health. Benchmarks for church health. Okay, I'm a lead consultant, I'm founder and CEO of Magnicraft Consulting, and I need to let you know what Magnicraft Consulting is all about. Magnicraft Consulting is a church consulting firm that helps local churches to grow, become healthier through empirical assessment, revitalization, trainings, and strategic blueprint. Our vision is to be a leading church health consultancy that creates sustainable, actionable, and adaptable solution. I'm also a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the US. I'm also your host to the weekly Facebook Live broadcast show on Facebook, Facebook Live broadcast show on Monday, 7 a.m. Nigerian time. And so I'm also known as a church health guide of the 21st century. A big thank you to everyone who has been sharing our content, who has been telling us how timely our content is. We want to just thank you so much from the depth of our heart. I want to thank you so much from the depth of our heart for sharing our content, telling us how timely our content is, and so forth. So thank you so much. I'm going to go straight into the part 2 of 4 series, which is benchmarks for church health. Okay, we have had in the first episode a foundation. If you have missed that episode, go on the YouTube channel. You're going to see part 1 of 4 benchmarks for church health. We need more and more healthy churches for today's increasing population. Like Nigeria is way over 210 million people, okay? And we are saying that we need more healthier churches. So the fact that you have more churches does not mean that we have enough churches for the growing population of our countries. So we need more healthy church. We need more healthy churches for today's increasing population in our countries. And so, what is the thing we discussed in part one? We said one of the important benchmarks should be around the problems that is generated from the two greats. That's the Great Commission and the Great Commandment. Okay, so what we're trying to say is, what is the Great Commission? Is to love the Lord thy God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And the Great Commandment is love your God with the Great Commandment. The Great Commission is to go into the world and to preach the gospel to the poor. And the Great Commandment is to love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And then to love your neighbor as yourself. So those two problems around obeying and complying with that, to those two greats, can pose a lot of problems, which any benchmark around that should be a problem for us. So we have the 1040 window. The 1040 window is a portion of the world map that gives how will I put it now, gives problems to the Christendom in terms of those who have not been saved on church, people who have not received Jesus as their personal Lord and Savior. So what we said in a nutshell was, when you do not know these benchmarks, there is a higher chance that you will begin to solve wrong problems in your church. And solving wrong problems in your church is worse than providing the right solution to the wrong problem. Okay, one of the things I know about leadership in the church is we encounter a lot of problems, and then we do not know how to solve those problems. And so we're saying that you trying to solve a wrong problem is not in a good light of your church when you know the right solutions to the wrong problems. So what are the benchmarks? Let's go straight into the benchmarks quickly, and God will help us as the internet cooperates with us today. What are the benchmarks? I want to mention some of them. Okay, measuring church growth is not always that easy. That's why sometimes it's good to get a church consultant to be able to have an objective, a professional kind of diagnosis in your church. So measuring church growth is not that easy. It's certainly not as easy as just counting people or counting the pews. Okay, what are the ways to evaluate your benchmarks? This has to be done maybe on an annual basis. You can do that on a quarterly basis, and then begin to compare one with another, how you have been able to do so well in that area. So number one is the number of increases by conversion. Okay, increases by conversion. How many converts do you have? How many converts have you been able to reach? How many new believers do you have through your outreach exercises, through your evangelism? You see, he's wanting to go for outreach. Outreaches is wanting to do some corporate responsibility to the community. But the thing is, how much of this convert is being added to your church? In some denominations, this figure is measured by the number of baptism, because the fact that you have convert does not mean that you're going to have a baptism. And baptism is actually more concrete in terms of getting those people who are saved and then they are baptized. So one of the benchmarks is to be able to know on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on an annual basis, what are the increases do you have in terms of the number of converts that comes as a result of the activities in your church. So number of increases by conversion, number of increases by what? Conversion. So that benchmark is actually very, very important for your church health. If that benchmark is declining over time, it shows that there's something wrong with your church, and there's something you have to do to be able to provide the right solutions to this exact problem. Is that okay? So that number one is the number of converts, and that's why in my own in my church, I always want to. Every sermon should end up with an altar call. Whatever you are doing as a church must revolve around getting someone saved. Whether you are singing in a choir, you are doing protocol, you are doing outreach, you are giving out free lunch, food, whatever it is, must revolve around making sure that someone's soul is actually saved. Okay, someone is giving their life to Christ in your church, in your ministry, and in whatever form you are doing. Then the other one is also the number of increases in terms of your church growth trends. Okay, there are many church growth trends. Okay, we have church can grow by conversion, church can grow by transfer, church can grow by birth, church can also grow by expansion. But what we're trying to say that how many believers are also joining. This is a front door analysis. You have been able to get to the first one, which is convert. The other one is what? Guests. How much of these guests are coming into your church in terms of transferred growth? Okay, how many believers are joining your church from other churches, from other congregations? And this growth is always very, very difficult to measure, but you have to measure it to know that yes, your church is actually growing in the right direction. So what are the number of increases in terms of transferred growth? How many of the believers or guests that are coming to your church? You see, one of the things I'll say quickly, a church cannot grow or church cannot become healthy if there are no converts and there are no guests. So what we are saying is that if you have guests, you should be able to have converts. Those two things, those 2 feet into your front door are very, very important. The growth we are talking about will always be around a Great Commission kind of growth. And if it's not a Great Commission kind of growth, then that growth nonetheless will not help in your church health. Okay, so one of the things I will say quickly, if you have not gotten anything so far, is your church cannot grow without converts and your church cannot go without guests. So from the guests, how much of them are actually believers? How much of them are actually believers? And that way you have to be able to put your ears in the pulse of the church to be able to know and ascertain this benchmark, to know exactly what's going on from your front door. Then the third one, not the last, I'm going to go because we're going to continue subsequently in the following Mondays, where we'll talk more about some of these benchmarks. Okay, we've talked about the increases in converts, we've talked about increases in new believers or guests coming to your church. We also look at the number of babies that are born in your church. I've seen churches who have grown to the point that their average age in their church is way too high, like 65 and above, and so we do not have new babies born in the church. Okay, young families are a bit low, and so because you have the young families a bit low, we don't have babies that are born. But here, the number of increases in births. Okay, how many babies are born in your church? And the thing is, as your if there's an increase in the number of births in your church, it shows that your church is healthy. It's a benchmark for health. Okay, for example, in year 1, the number of babies born in your church was 15. And then in the following year, it increases to 18. In the subsequent year, it went to 25. It shows there is some form of church health going on in the right direction. Okay, so how many babies are born in your church? You'll be able to plot that graph over the space of 2, 3, 5, 10 years time, and then begin to see why are people not getting married, why are we not attracting the millennials, why are the younger families not joining our church. And so you need to begin to look at some of those issues and see why are there decreases in numbers in these areas, and why are there increases in the numbers in these areas. Okay, obviously when the births are reducing, it's also possible that the number of marriages in your church is also reducing, because it takes people who are young couples to be able to give that contribution, that data, to the number of births that is going on in your church. Okay, so I'm going to just add one more here, and then we're going to wrap it up in 20 minutes. Okay, the increases in attendance. Okay, one of the things I'll say quickly is that if you go on my YouTube channel, there's a 14 vital signs that I did. One of them is the attendance change. What is the increase in attendance? Okay, how many people are coming regularly over time? Get my book on church retention. You're going to see a lot of insight and good information that you can apply into your church. This is just to tell you that church cannot grow if people are not frequently or regularly attending your church. So you need to know what is the number of increases in terms of attendance. Okay, attendance coming into your church. As a church consultant, if I ask you what, I will not even ask you what's your attendance, because you can tell me your attendance is 2,000, 3,000, and you are giving me approximated figure, or you are bloating your numbers. But the thing is, I want to see your attendance change over time. Attendance change is how the subsequent attendance is doing as compared to the previous attendance. Okay, so you look at week 1, week 2. Is there a positive change? Is there a negative change? Is there a decline or an increase? That's what we're going to look at. And once there's an increase in attendance change, then there is that indicator that your church is heading towards health. Okay, this number may include adults, youth, children, even the cars, and a lot of data around people coming to your church. But the thing is, when you say you have 352 men, that should give you a lot of information. How much of this number are actually coming to your church regularly in the last 6 months? How much of the number of the children are coming regularly in the last 10 months? So the increase in attendance is also an indicator of what's going on in your church in terms of church health. I want to just wrap it up with this 4 The first one has to do with what? And your conversion. The second one has to do with your guests. And the third one has to do with the number of births. And the fourth one has to do with number of attendants, okay, that are regular in your church, okay, because that's the brain behind my church retention book. Please get that book. That book will help you in no way. That book will help you in no way. That is that church retention pathway to growth. Please get that book. Last week, some couple of people from Delta, Lagos, they got the book. If you have not gotten that book, you are doing yourself a disfavor. Get that book, and that will help your church greatly. I promise you. And if you feel that you got the book and it's not worth the money, let me know. I'm going to refund back your cost for you. Let me know. And then please, Dr. Tom Rainer is still giving a massive discount, up to more than 40% discount in Church Consultation University. You want to become a church consultant. You love the local church. You have some experience as a staff, as a pastor, as a minister. You want to help your church. You want to help other churches. You want to create a kind of side gig for yourself. Please chat me on how you want to become a church consultant to enjoy the massive discounts from Dr. Tom Rainer, and then I'll be able to give you some of those massive discounts in no time. Okay, and then please make sure you share this video to a pastor, a church leader, your network. Please share it to your loved ones, your any church leader that you feel that this content will be appreciated. You have any church related questions for me, please feel free to hook up with us on any of the social media. You have any questions for me, please let us have your questions. I'm going to give you more than an answer, and then perhaps you're going to just get to rub minds with me to also pick my brains. That's okay if you pick my brain. That's okay if you get a good answer from me even without any cost. And so please go on our social media handles, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. Please turn on the notification bell so that when we upload or we are live on YouTube, you'll be able to be notified of a new video. If this video has been helpful to you, Give us a like, share us your community, drop us a comment. I love to hear from you. I also want to learn from you. Drop me a comment in the comment section below, and then we will be able to rub minds together. Please, we do trainings, we do consultations, we do revitalization. So we also do strategic planning for churches. Reach out to us and let's see how we can help your church move from where it is right now to where it should be. The number is on the screen. Let us talk. Let us see how we can give you excellent church consulting for health, vitality, and results. Okay? Till I come your way next week, Monday, with the part 3 of this series, benchmarks for church health. I say bye-bye. God bless you. And I love what you're doing. Thank you so much.